Hi, good morning everyone. I'm Chris Spears and this is Professor Kathy Norris. She's the interracial culture teacher at FGCU, and we're actually going to have a little discussion as far as our studies in relational dialectics. And we'll take it on, Ms. Kathy. Pleasure having you here.
Good to see you, Chris.
No problem. First question here is, what is your interpretation of relational dialectics?
Okay, first let me remind all of you that are listening to this that what Dr. Brady teaches is relational dialectics that are a little bit more political and maybe corporate or business-based. And as an intercultural, interracial teacher, I have a little bit different lens that I look through to understand how to manage relationships. So basically, we both agree, both fields agree, that a dialectic is the understanding that there are two people involved in every relationship. You have to have literally a dialogue to see what the competing needs are. And if you can settle in the middle where both people's needs can get met instead of being off balance. Okay, one person is feeling disrespected, or one person is feeling too powerful. That's not healthy for any relationship. So to me, relational dialectics are understanding that there's an unequal pull and trying to find the middle in relationships. And that goes for professional or personal.
Okay, awesome. Being an interracial culture professor, do you think culture influences any of these?
Absolutely. And I know because you've had my interracial, intercultural class. We already know the answer to that.
It's a great class, guys.
Oh, thank you so much for getting the plug in there. I appreciate it. But absolutely, because even the fact that some of us are concept communicators, and we talk in metaphors, and others are very detail specific. Even two people coming together, whether it's a romantic relationship, a friendship, a business partnership, or even being put together in a group in a class, there can be a little bit of tension there. You know what the goal is, okay? Maybe in a class, I think this is why so many students don't like group projects. It seems like there's always somebody that does all the work, somebody else that takes on a little bit of work, and then someone that does nothing, the slacker. If you're the slacker, listen to this. Not good. Your rep's on the line.
Well, it's always any kind of a group project.
Right.
There's always that tension depending, no matter what kind of, if it's cultural.
So there's even the culture of what you think ethically you should contribute.
Right.
So it goes from ethics, it goes from your family of origin, how your parents raised you or guardians raised you, and even the bigger culture, like in American culture, we tend to value people that are a little bit more loud and obnoxious. We think that's kind of funny and interesting. In other cultures, that is considered extremely rude and not a good way to build relationships. So
what works the best out of all of these type of cultures?
To me, reframing is something that we use, well, at least in intercultural, interracial. That is the core of what we do. We say, hey, I know you were taught on a certain kind of history book that, mostly white men, created our country. But when you reframe it, which is also called revisionist history, you come in and say, wait, there's people's opinions that are missing there. Let's get the whole ball of wax before we really know what happened in our history. And so, you need to look at it from the Native Americans' perspective. Did Christopher Columbus discover America? No, there were already people here. Okay, so if you reframe it, it literally is a way for people to go, oh my gosh, I never thought of it that way. Now, we can do that on a personal level, too. I have a very good friend who drives me nuts, but, there's something about this person that continues to be worth the investment to me. He's a very good soul. But he'll do things like, we will make him some food to serve or something, and instead of just sitting down at the dinner party and enjoying it, or if he doesn't like it, not really letting anybody, he goes, oh, I don't like that kind of stuff. I won't eat that. Okay? Now, I've had to reframe things for him many times. And, maybe it's really not my place to do that, but I also see that his life is struggling because he doesn't see how he's coming off, okay? And I said, hey, Stephen, maybe the better thing to do would be to just politely say thank you and maybe not eat it, but eat the other things, because you really came off like I beeped myself. Enough people have told him that now that he's starting to reframe the way he communicates. We don't want him to not be himself. But there are ways that are positive and healthy to relationships, and there are ways that are damaging. Okay? So you can reframe everything from history to your personal relationships. I think it's an amazing process and very, very, very well suited for every relationship you have.
That's a good interpretation. Thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate it. So I get the big bucks.
Kids stay in school. Do you think there are more dialectics than the three?
Oh, well, absolutely, because based on the field and the lens you're looking through, like Dr. Brady has his own list. I have my own list through interracial, intercultural, which involve things that look more at history and race, obviously, like past, present, or historical dialectics. There's the privileged, disadvantaged dialectic, which, most corporate models don't really take the time to look at things like that. That's specific to intercultural and interracial. There's the certainty-uncertainty model, which is very important in interracial and intercultural. We are so uncomfortable if we can't recognize someone's gender or if their ethnicity doesn't seem obvious. Something we're working on as a culture. Yeah. So that's a frame too, when someone shakes someone's hand and they're not sure which gender they are, trying to reframe and ask the right questions that are respectful to try to get an answer so that you feel certain you know who you're dealing with rather than uncertain. Okay, so that's that. But it's the same goal. The goal is, it's like this, we don't understand each other, we're fighting to get needs met, let's resolve it and end up right here.
Right. Do you see any problems with this theory as far as your teachings or any other else's interpretation?
That's a good question, because most of us, including, I think I can speak for Dr. Brady, we do this because we think that everything we learned is so important for having a high-quality life and amazing relationships and loving your job and finding really, quality people to put in your life because you know how to manage relationships. So it's hard for me to think there's any fault with trying to manage relationships better.
Professor Norris, I appreciate your time.
Chris.
Thank you for having us here, and definitely, hopefully, we have you again sometime
Okay,
during our.
let me know. I'd
future
love
years.
to talk. I'm sure neither of you ever figured that out.
Yeah.